Act as if you're chosen by Earl Nightingale. Lesson 1. Your attitude determines your altitude. The greatest discovery of our generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. As you think, so shall you be. This isn't just poetry or philosophy. It's a practical fact that has transformed the lives of countless people who have grasped its significance. Your attitude is the foundation upon which all your achievements will be built. Like the bedrock beneath a skyscraper, if your attitude is not solid and positive, nothing of lasting value can be constructed upon it. I've observed this truth play out thousands of times throughout my career. Two people with identical backgrounds, education, and opportunities will achieve dramatically different results based solely on their attitudes. The world around you is much like a mirror. It reflects back to you precisely what you project outward. Smile at the world, and the world smiles back. Approach life with suspicion and negativity, and you'll find evidence to confirm your fears at every turn. This mirror principle operates with unwavering consistency, whether we recognize it or not. When birds fly, their altitude is determined by air currents and their own wing strength. For humans, our altitude in life, our level of achievement, happiness and fulfillment, is determined by the attitude we maintain day after day. The higher your attitude soars, the higher you'll climb in every area that matters. Most people live far below their capabilities because they've accepted artificial limitations. These boundaries aren't real. They exist only in the mind. The person who believes they cannot learn a new skill or achieve a certain goal has made that outcome inevitable. Not because of any external restriction, but because they've imprisoned themselves within the walls of their own negative expectations. One of the most powerful attitude adjustments available to you is the gratitude shift. Thankfulness transforms perspective immediately when you genuinely appreciate what you already possess. Your health, relationships, opportunities, even your challenges. Your entire mental state elevates. Problems that once seemed insurmountable suddenly appear manageable. Opportunities previously invisible come clearly into view. You can begin this transformation today with a simple morning attitude ritual. Upon waking, before the day's demands crowd in, take 5 minutes to set your attitudinal compass. Breathe deeply and consider 3 things you're genuinely grateful for. Then visualize yourself moving through the day with confidence, kindness, and purposeful energy. Finally, speak aloud an affirmation that reinforces your chosen attitude. Today, I choose optimism. I choose to see opportunities rather than obstacles. I choose to be the energy that elevates others. This isn't magical thinking. It's practical psychology. By deliberately choosing your attitude before circumstances dictate it, you place yourself in command of your mental environment. And when you command your thoughts, you command your life. Remember, no one else can determine your attitude. It's the one freedom that cannot be taken from you under any circumstance. Guard it carefully, nurture it daily, and watch as the world around you responds in kind. Your attitude truly determines your altitude. Lesson 2. The value of goals. Have you ever noticed a ship in the harbor? It's a magnificent creation of human ingenuity, designed with a specific purpose, to sail across vast oceans to reach a predetermined destination. But what would happen if that ship left port without coordinates, without a destination? It would simply drift aimlessly at the mercy of currents and winds, perhaps never arriving anywhere of significance. My friends, this is exactly what happens to human lives without clear, well-defined goals. We become like ships without ports, wandering through our days without direction or purpose. The difference between those who accomplish great things and those who merely exist can be traced to one fundamental principle: the setting and pursuit of worthy goals. It's both startling and revealing that only about 3% of people have written goals. This small percentage of humanity holds the map while the rest wander the landscape, hoping to stumble upon success. A goal properly set is halfway reached. When you commit your aspirations to paper, something remarkable happens. The very act of writing crystallizes your thinking and sends a signal to your subconscious mind that you're serious about this destination. Your mind, that marvelous servant, begins working day and night to help you achieve what you've declared important. But not all goals are created equal. A worthy goal must resonate with your deepest values. Ask yourself, if I could accomplish only one significant objective in the next year, what would create the greatest positive impact on my life? Your answer reveals what truly matters to you. Goals must have certain qualities to be effective. They should be specific, not vague wishes. Someday, I'd like to be successful isn't a goal. It's merely a dream without a deadline. I will increase my income by 20 within 12 months by developing a specific, valuable skill. Now that's a goal with power. Your goals must be measurable so you'll know precisely when you've achieved them. They should stretch you beyond your comfort zone yet remain within the realm of possibility. And perhaps most importantly, they must be your goals, not what someone else thinks you should want. The process of goal setting follows 6 distinct steps. First, identify exactly what you want. Second, write it down with a deadline. Third, determine what you'll give in return for reaching this goal. Fourth, develop a detailed plan. Fifth, visualize yourself having already achieved it. And sixth, work on your plan every single day without fail. When you master this process, you transform from a leaf blown by circumstance to the captain of your destiny. You'll join that remarkable 3 who navigate life with purpose and direction. Remember this, you're chosen to achieve something significant, but that potential remains dormant until you define precisely what you aim to accomplish. The clarity of your goals determines the quality of your journey. Today, right now, I challenge you to set sail with purpose. Chart your course with specific, meaningful goals. The horizons of your potential await, but only if you first decide where you're headed. The ship is ready. Are you prepared to give it coordinates worthy of your voyage? Lesson 3. The Acres of Diamond. Have you ever dreamed of striking it rich in some distant land while overlooking treasures in your own backyard? My friends, this is perhaps one of life's greatest tragedies, searching far and wide for what already lies within your reach. The story of Ali Hafted, told masterfully by Russell Conwell, serves as our guiding light today. This ancient Persian farmer lived happily until he heard tales of diamonds and the fortunes they brought. Consumed by desire for such wealth, he sold his farm, left his family, and wandered the earth searching for diamond fields. After years of fruitless searching, destitute and despairing, he cast himself into the sea. Meanwhile, the man who purchased Ali's farm one day noticed a curious black stone in a stream crossing the property. That stone turned out to be a diamond of enormous value. In fact, that very farm became one of the most productive diamond mines in history, the acres of diamonds that Ali had abandoned in his quest for wealth elsewhere. This timeless parable speaks directly to each of us. How often do we overlook the opportunities that surround us while fantasizing about success in distant places? The greener grass on the other side of the fence has lured many away from fortunes that lay within their grasp. The greatest opportunities often come disguised in familiar packaging. We become blind to them through daily exposure. This proximity blindness prevents us from recognizing value in what we already possess, our talents, relationships, knowledge, and circumstances that others would treasure. Consider the case of the young writer who traveled the world seeking inspiration, only to achieve success when finally writing about the small town where he grew up, or the businessman who invested in foreign ventures while missing the emerging industry in his hometown that created millionaires. Your own acres of diamonds, your unique advantages, are waiting to be discovered. Perhaps it's a skill you take for granted because it comes naturally. Maybe it's a connection with someone whose friendship you've undervalued. It could be knowledge you've accumulated that others would gladly pay to acquire. The tragedy isn't in not finding opportunities. It's in not recognizing them when they surround us. Begin today with a thorough inventory of your assets. List every skill, relationship, experience, and resource at your disposal. What problems could these solve? What value might they create? Who might benefit from them? The intersection of your abilities and others' needs often reveals your acres of diamonds. Remember, the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. The most successful people aren't those who chase endless possibilities, but those who recognize and develop the opportunities before them. Act as if you've been chosen to discover the diamonds in your own backyard. The world will respond by revealing treasures that were there all along, waiting for you to simply open your eyes and see. Lesson 4. The Hour of Decision. Every day, your life changes course based on the decisions you make. Decisions are the rudders that steer the ship of your life through calm waters and stormy seas alike. Each of us stands at the crossroads of decision many times throughout our lives, and it is in these precious moments that our destinies are truly shaped. I have observed that successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly, if at all. The unsuccessful do just the opposite. They make decisions slowly and change them frequently. This difference alone can determine the trajectory of a person's entire life. Many of us suffer from what I call paralysis by analysis. We gather information endlessly, waiting for perfect certainty that never arrives. We fail to recognize that life rewards action, not contemplation alone. While thoughtful consideration has its place, there comes a point, the decision threshold, where further delay costs more than potential mistakes from moving forward. Have you ever noticed how much clearer your path becomes once you've made a firm decision? It's as if the fog lifts and suddenly you can see exactly what needs to be done. This is no coincidence. When you decide definitively, your mind stops wasting energy on questions of if and redirects that power to questions of how. Consider the word decision itself. It comes from Latin, meaning to cut off. A true decision cuts off all other possibilities and focuses your energy in one direction. Like the commitment of a captain burning his ships upon reaching new shores, a real decision eliminates the possibility of retreat. Your decision-making ability is like a muscle that strengthens with use. Each time you make a clear choice and follow through, this muscle grows stronger. Start with small decisions made promptly, then act upon them immediately. As your confidence grows, you'll find yourself capable of making larger decisions with the same clarity and commitment. I recommend a simple 5-minute framework for decisions. First, gather the essential facts. Second, consider the primary objective. Third, evaluate the immediate consequences. Finally, decide and act. For most decisions, 5 minutes is sufficient. Additional time rarely improves the quality of the choice, but often diminishes your resolve to act. Indecision is also a decision to remain exactly where you are. As you stand at your personal hour of decision today, ask yourself, will you choose the path of growth, even with its uncertainty or the false comfort of delay? The quality of your life right now is the sum total of your decisions to this point. If you desire different results, make different decisions. Your hour of decision is not some distant future moment. It is now, today, this very instant. Make your choice deliberately, with conviction, knowing that, in doing so, you are actively creating your destiny rather than merely accepting whatever comes. Act as if you're chosen to make powerful decisions and watch how life responds by presenting opportunities that match your newfound clarity and purpose. Lesson 5. Service as the Master Key. I want to share with you today one of the most powerful principles of success that has stood the test of time. It's a simple truth that the great achievers throughout history have understood, yet it remains overlooked by many seeking advancement in life. That principle is service. The universe operates on a fundamental law of giving and receiving as reliable as gravity itself. Most people have this backward. They focus first on what they can get, rather than what they can give. But the master key that unlocks abundance is service to others. Consider this. Every fortune ever built began with someone solving a problem for others or fulfilling a need. The size of your reward is directly proportional to the value of your service. If you want to increase your income, don't focus on the money. Focus on increasing your service. The most successful people I've encountered in my years of studying achievement all share this service mindset. While others ask, "What's in it for me?" these rare people ask, "How can I be of greater service?" This shift in thinking transforms not only your results, but your entire approach to life. There's something almost magical about adopting a contribution mindset. When you wake up thinking about how you can add value to others, you immediately separate yourself from the majority. Your problems seem smaller. Your purpose grows larger. You tap into reserves of energy and creativity that remain dormant in those focused only on themselves. Look around you. What needs exist that you could fill? What problems could you solve? The opportunities for service are everywhere, hiding in plain sight. The person who develops the habit of recognizing these needs positions themselves for extraordinary success. Leadership itself is fundamentally an act of service. The greatest leaders aren't those who command the most followers, but those who create the most leaders. They serve by elevating others, by helping people recognize and develop their potential. As you lift others, you rise yourself, not through manipulation, but through genuine contribution. I've found that most unhappy people share one characteristic. They're focused primarily on themselves. The moment you shift your attention to serving others, something remarkable happens to your own sense of fulfillment. It's as though happiness is the natural byproduct of contribution, never fully attained when pursued directly. Begin today by creating your personal service statement. Write down how specifically you intend to serve others through your work, relationships, and daily interactions. Make it concrete and meaningful. Then act as if you're chosen to provide this service, because in truth, you are. The world responds to those who approach life with a spirit of service. Doors open. Opportunities appear. Resources gather. Not by magic, but by the natural operation of this universal principle. As you sow service, so shall you reap abundance. Act with this service mindset for just 30 days. Notice how differently people respond to you. Observe how your own sense of purpose and fulfillment expands. The greatest satisfaction in life comes not from what we accumulate, but from what we contribute. Service truly is the master key that unlocks your greatest potential. Lesson 6. The magic of believing. Imagine for a moment that I gave you a small glass of water and told you it contained a powerful medicine that would instantly cure any headache. If you believed me completely and drank that water while suffering from a headache, there's a remarkable chance your headache would vanish, even if the glass contained nothing but ordinary tap water. That is the placebo effect, and it's one of the most compelling demonstrations of the magic of believing. Your mind is an extraordinary instrument. What you believe with conviction literally changes the chemistry of your brain and body. When you believe something is possible, the resources of your subconscious mind align to help you achieve it. When you believe something is impossible, those same resources work just as diligently to prove you right. Consider the 4-minute mile. For thousands of years, experts declared it physically impossible for humans to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Then in 1954, Roger Bannister didn't just believe it was possible. He acted as if it were inevitable. He shattered that barrier, and within just 1 year, 37 other runners also broke the 4-minute mile. The only thing that changed was belief. You see, beliefs function like the operating system of a computer. They run silently in the background, determining what's possible and what's not in your life. The wonderful news is that, unlike computer software that requires technical expertise to modify, you can install new, empowering beliefs through consistent practice. Begin by becoming aware of your current beliefs. Listen to your internal dialogue. When you say, "I can't afford that," "That's impossible," or "I'm not the kind of person who could do that," you're expressing limiting beliefs. These aren't facts, they're programming that can be changed. The next step is to act as if you already believe what you wish to believe. Your actions will eventually convince your mind. Want to believe you're confident? Stand tall, speak clearly, and take bold action, even when you don't feel confident, Your mind will eventually fall in line with your behavior. Doubt is belief's natural enemy. When doubt creeps in, and it will. Don't fight it directly. Instead, simply redirect your attention to evidence that supports your new belief. Keep a success journal where you record all experiences that confirm your new way of thinking, no matter how small. Belief is strengthened through repetition. The mind responds to consistent messages. Feed it the same empowering thoughts daily, and it will eventually accept them as truth. Read biographies of great achievers who overcame obstacles similar to yours. Their stories will plant seeds of possibility in your mind. Visualization is another powerful technique for installing new beliefs. See yourself already possessing the belief you desire. Experience the feelings, hear the sounds, notice the details. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. The magic of believing isn't mystical. It's a practical application of how your mind works. When you truly believe you're chosen for something great, you'll naturally take the actions that make that belief a reality, and the world, responding to those actions rather than your words, will reflect back evidence that confirms what you've believed all along. Lesson 7. The Invisible Forces. The world around you is filled with invisible forces that shape your destiny. Just as gravity holds you to the earth, without being seen, unseen principles govern success and failure in your life. Most people live their entire lives without ever recognizing these forces, much less harnessing them. You see, when you act as if you're chosen, you're actually activating one of the most powerful of these invisible forces. I call it the law of assumption. This law states that when you firmly assume a certain condition to be true, your mind and the world around you begin working to make that assumption your reality. Think of it this way. Have you ever noticed how a person who thinks they're lucky seems to have fortunate circumstances happen to them regularly? Or how someone who expects failure seems to find it at every turn? This isn't mere coincidence. It's the law of assumption at work. When you act as if you're already the person you wish to become, you send powerful signals both to your own subconscious mind and to everyone around you. Your posture changes. Your tone of voice shifts. Your decisions align with this new identity. Without even realizing it, others begin to treat you according to your assumption. This isn't pretending or being inauthentic. Rather, it's recognizing a higher truth about yourself that hasn't yet fully manifested in your circumstances. The caterpillar must act as if it's a butterfly long before its transformation is visible to the outside world. I remember a young man who worked in the mailroom of a large corporation. While others complained about their position, he carried himself with the dignity of an executive. He studied the business intently. He dressed slightly better than his position required. He spoke with clarity and purpose. Within 3 years, he was managing his own department, surpassing people who had been with the company far longer. When asked about his rapid rise, his answer was simple. I never saw myself as just a mailroom clerk. In my mind, I was in training for management. He acted as if he was chosen for advancement, and the world responded accordingly. The great psychologist William James understood this principle well when he said, "Act as if what you do makes a difference." It does. Your actions, informed by your assumptions, create ripples that extend far beyond your awareness. Begin today by identifying one area where you want to see change. Perhaps it's your career, your health, or a relationship. Now, how would you walk, talk, and make decisions if you were already the person who had achieved success in this area? What thoughts would you think? What would your daily routine include? Start acting in alignment with this chosen identity. Don't wait for evidence that you're chosen. Your assumption of being chosen is what creates the evidence. The invisible forces that govern success will begin working on your behalf the moment you assume your chosen state. Remember, the world doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you believe and how you act on those beliefs. Act as if you're chosen, and watch as the invisible forces of success align to make it so. Lesson 8. The Chosen Attitude. Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to move through life with a quiet confidence? It's as if they possess an invisible key that unlocks doors before they even reach them. These people aren't necessarily blessed with greater talents or advantages than others. What sets them apart is their attitude. They act as if they're chosen. This is no accident, my friend. When you adopt the chosen attitude, you activate one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. Your mind begins to operate differently. Your posture changes. Your voice carries newfound authority. And most remarkably, the world responds in kind. Consider for a moment how differently you behave when you believe you belong somewhere versus when you feel like an intruder. When you believe you belong, you stand taller. You speak with clarity. You engage authentically. The chosen attitude isn't arrogance. It's alignment with your highest potential. The mechanism behind this transformation is quite fascinating. When you act as if you're chosen, you send signals through your nervous system that literally change your biochemistry. Stress hormones decrease. Confidence-building chemicals increase. Your brain becomes more receptive to opportunities rather than threats. I remember speaking with a young salesman who had struggled for months to meet his quotas. After our conversation about acting chosen, he decided to conduct an experiment. For 1 week, he would walk into each meeting not as someone hoping for a sale, but as someone chosen to solve his clients' problems. The results were immediate and dramatic. His sales doubled. Clients responded to him differently. Doors that had been closed suddenly opened. What happened? Did the world magically change? No. He changed first, and the world responded to the new signals he was broadcasting. This principle works universally because people naturally respond to certainty. When you act chosen, you demonstrate certainty, not in an overbearing way, but in a way that communicates competence and purpose. Others sense this and treat you accordingly. Try this simple exercise tomorrow morning. Before engaging with others, stand in front of a mirror. Adjust your posture as if you've been personally selected for an important mission. Look into your own eyes and say, "I am chosen for this day." Notice how your expression changes. This small ritual can reframe your entire approach to what follows. Remember, acting chosen isn't pretending to be someone you're not. It's acknowledging who you truly are beneath the layers of doubt that have accumulated over time. The chosen attitude is your birthright. Would an oak tree apologize for reaching toward the sun? Does a river second? Guess its journey to the ocean? Of course not. They simply fulfill their nature without hesitation. You, too, were designed with purpose. Acting chosen is merely aligning with that truth. The remarkable aspect of this principle is how quickly it works. You don't need years of practice. The shift can happen in an instant. The moment you decide to carry yourself as someone who belongs exactly where you are, doing exactly what you're doing, the world will respond not tomorrow or someday, but immediately. Lesson 9. The Chosen Pathway. There exists, in this magnificent world of ours, a principle so profound yet so simple that most men and women overlook it entirely. It's the principle of acting as if you are already that which you aspire to be. This is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. When you act as if you're chosen, selected for greatness, destined for achievement, something remarkable happens. The world begins to respond in kind. This isn't mystical thinking. It's practical psychology at its finest. Consider the salesperson who approaches each prospect with absolute certainty that they're the best representative possible. They carry themselves with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their value. Their voice resonates with conviction. Their handshake communicates competence. Before they've spoken a single word about their product, they've already begun the sale through their chosen bearing. The same principle applies to every worthy endeavor. The student who studies as if academic excellence is their birthright. The artist who creates as if their work belongs in galleries. The leader who speaks as if their vision is already manifesting. They're not pretending. They're aligning themselves with their highest potential. This isn't about deception or false confidence. It's about stepping into the role you were designed to play before external circumstances catch up with your internal circumstances, catch up with your internal reality. It's about understanding that your mindset precedes your circumstances. When you act as if you're chosen, you begin to make different decisions. You associate with different people. You hold yourself to different standards. The person who believes they're destined for mediocrity behaves very differently from the one who believes they're destined for greatness. And these behaviors, repeated daily, create entirely different lives. I've observed that successful people across all fields share this quality. They don't wait for validation before demonstrating excellence. They don't require permission to behave as if they belong at the table. They pull up their chair and contribute with the quiet assurance of someone who knows their place. Think about how a chosen person would approach challenges. Would they crumble at the first obstacle? Would they make excuses? Would they blame external circumstances? Of course not. The chosen person sees obstacles as opportunities to demonstrate their capabilities. They view problems as the universe asking, "Are you really who you claim to be?" Start with your posture. Stand tall as if you've been selected for greatness. Speak clearly, as if your words carry weight. Listen intently, as if each conversation might contain the insight you need. Work diligently, as if your efforts matter tremendously, because they do. The beautiful truth is that you have been chosen, not by some external authority, but by life itself. You've been given unique gifts, experiences, and perspectives that no one else possesses in quite the same combination. When you act from this understanding, you honor the remarkable convergence of factors that created you. Tomorrow morning, when you rise, ask yourself, how would I approach this day if I knew with absolute certainty that I was chosen for greatness? Then move through your hours with that knowledge guiding your actions. Watch as the world begins to respond, mirroring back to you the chosen person you've decided to become. Lesson 10. The Mantle of the Chosen. So here we are, at the culmination of our journey together. Throughout these pages, we've explored the remarkable power that lies dormant within each of us. The power to transform our lives by simply changing our thoughts and acting as if we're already the person we aspire to be. Think about this. Every great man or woman who has ever walked this earth began their journey of achievement with a single thought, a vision of what could be. They didn't wait for circumstances to align perfectly. They didn't wait for permission. They acted as if they were already chosen for greatness. And that is the secret I've saved for our final chapter together. When you act as if you're chosen, when you carry yourself with the quiet dignity of someone selected for an important mission, the world responds in kind. It's not magic, though it certainly appears magical in its effects. It's simply the universe responding to the energy and conviction you project. Consider the lowly caterpillar. Does it question its transformation? Does it doubt the process as it enters the chrysalis? No. It acts according to its nature, fulfilling its destiny without question or hesitation. The caterpillar doesn't worry about whether it's worthy to become a butterfly. It simply follows the path laid out for it. You are no different, except in one crucial respect. You have choice. The caterpillar transforms by instinct, but you transform by decision. When you put on the mantle of the chosen, you're making a declaration to yourself and to the universe. You're saying, I accept my rightful place. I step into my potential, not someday, but this very moment. Look around at those who've achieved greatness in any field. Did they wait until they felt ready? Rarely. They stepped forward, often trembling with uncertainty, and acted as if they belonged exactly where they aimed to be. The doctor healing patients once played doctor as a child. The successful executive once wore her mother's business clothes and pretended to run a company. The acclaimed artist first created with crayons, imagining his work in galleries. They all acted as if they were chosen before any external validation confirmed it. This isn't pretending or being inauthentic. Quite the opposite. It's recognizing your true nature before the rest of the world catches up to what you already know inside. Remember this. The universe has no choice but to reorganize itself around your dominant thoughts and actions. When you consistently act as if you're chosen, opportunities appear, doors open, and people respond to you differently. Start today. Walk with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their purpose. Speak with the measured certainty of someone entrusted with wisdom. Work with the dedication of someone whose efforts have profound meaning. Don't wait for someone to tap you on the shoulder and declare you chosen. That moment may never come from the outside. Instead, place that mantle upon your own shoulders and watch as the world begins to treat you accordingly. You were born for significance. Act as if you're chosen, and the world will respond. That is the promise, and that is the truth.